Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I will start with this, what this presentation is not going to be about. So this is not going to be about what is a chatbot, what does a chatbot do, what is the basic principles of a chatbot, because we're all very familiar with that idea and that concept. And chatbots have been around for quite some time now. And what started off as a kind of a decision tree sort of thing, right? You have a window where you say, hi, I'm so-and-so chatbot, how can I help you? The user asks a question, is if, else, yes, no. That kind of interaction, which is typically what a chatbot used to do. And that's what we have been using. I've been using chatbots, kind of developed some chatbots back in the day, almost 8 to 9 years ago. And I kind of lost interest completely for quite some time because, hey, everybody's doing it. I don't really see anything terrific happening on that front. But with the onset of Gen AI and uh, a lot of machine learning and adaptive synthesis that's happening off late, it rekindled my interest in the whole concept of chatbots all over again. So this presentation is mainly going to focus on, hey, what's changed in the world of chatbots? Second, in terms of documentation, how can documentation add value to an organization who's already using chatbots? And the other way, you have a, a content or a chatbot which is answering questions. How can those responses and analysis of that data help with gap analysis for documentation teams? And finally, we're just going to talk about some of the key strategies which you can use to come up with a new chatbot strategy for your team, or if you already have some sort of a chatbot mechanism, how can you enhance it, improve it, and see real world results and return of investment on that. So moving quickly on, what's really changed? Now, I would like to quote the context of the CrowdStrike incident, right, which has kind of messed up the whole IT infrastructure in the world. It's affected a lot of industries in a very big way. For example, your airlines, your trains, your you name it. Even a lot of cloud companies, a lot of service related companies are suddenly overwhelmed by the kind of uh, inputs, or sorry, the number of people who are asking questions, people picking up the phone and calling them. And it is very difficult to cope with that. Of course, content can solve that by putting out press releases, by updating your help center articles, or giving some context or workarounds around things. But chatbots can really be a savior for support teams to scale and answer those contents. So essentially, how it's changed in today's world is, first of all, they're AI powered. They understand natural languages. Mridula was mentioning, you can speak in acronyms, you can speak in urban lingo. It will still get it. It will still understand the semantics of language rather than you having to be precise about your query. It can tap into existing knowledge bases and provide info on what could be lacking in your content based on the support ticket analysis. It might look at the support tickets from the last 3 months, look at the resolution of those support tickets, and identify that, hey, in these resolutions, there are a lot of places where we used maybe a help center article or a content link, but a lot of places it went on for some time until the question could be answered through an SME. Maybe this is a content gap which can be addressed through the analysis by the chatbot. And another great thing is it can display very curated content. I think Ganesh was mentioning earlier that uh, it can tap into your knowledge base, and instead of just showing you a link for an article, it can actually read your content, understand the context, metadata, keywords, and possibly display just a content snippet. Maybe you have an article which says, hey, getting started, configuration, troubleshooting, and the customer's question is about configuration. It could perhaps pick up only that specific piece and display that, making it a lot more tailored fit to a customer query. In terms of documentation, when you implement a good chatbot strategy, it is a two-way street. It can benefit your support teams immensely. Ideally, a support team is who will implement a chatbot. It's very rare to see an organization that, hey, a technical writing team will implement a chatbot. It's usually has a lot more value for support agents, for organizations who are dealing with a lot of support queries across multiple channels, right? And globally. So with the support team, if documentation can work together, it can help you provide a lot of value. It can provide value to your documentation, and your documentation itself can provide value to the organization, to the support team in a lot of ways. First is it can provide a lot of very smart nuanced recommendations. You can create AI workflows anticipating customer queries. For example, you have a feature release. For example, you have some sort of a bug or a known issue in your product. For example, you might have some sort of announcement to tease a new feature. You can create specific workflows and ingest it into the chatbot so that it can give very specific responses. You can also create workflows based on personas or for example for admins, for end users. Also you can create workflows based on, let's say, the pricing plan. Maybe a person who's bought the free plan versus an enterprise level plan. You could tailor those responses and workflows based on that. It will of course save time for technical writing teams if the chatbot can give me an analysis and say, hey, we had about 25 of these specific queries in the last 2 weeks, with where we tried to give a response or give out help center articles, but the customer said no, this was not helpful. They ended up raising a support ticket anyway. So this could be something which could help us identify gaps in our content and eventually reduce the number of tickets, which is a straight up cost saving for any organization, which we call a deflection, right? In terms of the case study, so we used chatbot at Airbase, and for the last 1 year, we've been doing some very interesting stuff. We've gone to the next level where we have upgraded to a version which will write kind of help center content or suggest updated content based on existing customer queries, based on existing content in the repository. And it has helped us achieve in some months up to 30%, which is incredible. And the industry standard, according to some of my research, is anything, hey, you hit anything out of 15 to 20%, you hit it out of the park. It's fantastic, which means most people who are coming are being self-served through your content. And the other key aspect of it is it's adaptable. So when we started this exercise maybe a year and a half ago, to now, the responses of the chatbot have become more accurate. It has been able to kind of understand the kind of queries that have been coming in and out of our system, the responses that have solved customer problems, solved customer tickets, and it has definitely improved the quality of content that is eventually served to customers. These are some quick statistics that I pulled out from.
Raj, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we are still seeing the first screen, or is it just
Yeah.
me?
Oh my gosh, I'm
No,
so
it's the
sorry
first
to hear
screen,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What about now?
No, it's still
Maybe
that.
maybe you
Just
can
could you
stop
also
sharing
maybe
and
put it in
share.
presentation? It might be easier.
All right, I'm so
You can
sorry.
stop sharing and share again,
Yeah,
right?
I'm let me do that again. Okay, I'm stopping the share and I will share again. Let me just try sharing the window itself to see if that is better. Okay,
Yeah, we
I,
can see your first slide right now.
what about the second slide, or are you able to see my PowerPoint
On
screen?
the
Yes,
yes,
it is.
Yeah,
now
now we
it's
can.
come.
Okay, I'll quickly move on to full screen. So are you all able to see the slide that says what's changed?
Yes.
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 Okay. So basically, this is what I spoke about. I again don't want to go back to this. So it covers basically the same points of what's changed, how can we add value with docs. I'll just stay on this slide for a few seconds so that you can kind of reflect on some of the things I spoke about. Uh, Mainly talks about some of the main benefits for both support teams as well as documentation teams. In terms of the case study, we achieved a very good deflection rate. Anything about 20% is awesome. And the chatbot has been learning to communicate better, understand the language that customers are talking, understand some of the keywords in our industry and organization. And this is what I wanted to show you. Can you people now see the statistics on the screen?
Not,
No, not yet.
Okay, I think there's something terribly wrong with.
you can go to slideshow and perhaps try that.
I tried the slideshow, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
where something is going wrong, but let me try again. That's something which we as technical writers keep doing. Things don't work, we try again. Uh, just let me know what you can see on the screen.
The stats.
Okay, are you able to see the stats now?
Yeah.
Yes.
2550. Okay, I will maximize this. Okay, you're able to see it on the full screen mode now.
No.
Okay, I think once I go full screen, something is going wonky. So, but you're able to see now, right? You're able to see what I'm showing on the screen.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'll quickly walk you through some of the numbers. So this is for a period of 4 weeks. We had 2,550 people come in and interact with our chatbots. Out of that, we had 661 deflections, which means that we served up some articles, we answered some queries, and at the end we asked the question, hey, did this resolve your query? Yes or no? If it said yes, we consider that as a CSAT, we consider that as a deflection. So that deflection rate was about 25%. Chats, it also has data on chats that included one or more article suggestions. So out of those 661 deflections, there might have been certain conversations where straight up so the way our chatbot works is you come and ask, so we are in fintech, right? Hey, how do I make a wire transfer to fund for a bill payment? I will straight away give you 3 articles from my help center or 3 curated content snippets saying, hey, this is how you do this. Did this help you? Yes or no? No, this did not help me. We will try again, offering 2 more suggestions. And when we know for sure that is not working out, maybe they'll raise a ticket. But those are the time where we have tried more than once to serve articles to customers. And the average CSAT score is nothing but, hey, out of these interactions, typically people have out of 5 said most of the time we are happy with the interaction with the chatbot. Moving on to the next slide.
It didn't move.
1 second. Let me just try something. Okay, I don't know why it's going into the pen mode, but let me stop and then move to the next slide. Anybody can offer me any tips because I kind of use Zoom most of the time, so kind of handicapped with.
Maybe you can export it to
Google.
the PDF and then you can show.
That's a good idea. I actually do have it on a PDF. Let me see if I can share the PDF itself. I kind of anticipated this.
Tech writers always have a workaround.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. Where would we be without that, right? Okay, let me see if I can fire up the PDF. You folks can see the PDF.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
And
Now
it's
all
scrolling.
the screens are moving.
okay, awesome. Cool. So coming to these strategies, so spoke about some of the statistics and what we're doing. Strategies are again simple, but it has to again tailor to what current customer expectations are, right? First of all, just text might not cut it. Optimize your chatbot for voice. Have a small mic there saying, hey, somebody clicks on the mic and just talks into it. It can synthesize natural uh, language. So that could be a lot more quicker for somebody because most of the time, and I'm sure most of you agree as well, whenever a chatbot comes up on any website, let's say train booking website, airline website, most of us find it very intrusive, right? Here, what is this thing popping up? It's kind of annoying. But if you immediately see that I can just talk to it and there's a mic thing blinking saying, hey, just tell me what you want, I would probably try it out rather than just closing it even without trying. So that is one of the biggest challenges with chatbots. Optimizing it for voice can be a cool thing to do. Second thing is build unique workflows. You create, like I said, maybe you have a feature release coming up. Maybe you want to advertise some cool aspect of your product. Create those to interest and tease customers who come in on to the chatbot. Maybe after answering your query, you can maybe give a suggestion saying, hey, you know what, we introduced this very cool feature which could really help with what you're doing. Would you like to know more about it? Present that information. Third, is integrate multimedia. As Sai was mentioning earlier, people have very low attention spans. People don't have time to read a wall of text anymore. So if I can embed a small video clip, an animated GIF, an infographic, anything which can help within the chatbot interface, it is probably going to be just or even more effective than typical text content. Final is you personalize your stuff. You try and cater to a specific persona, a specific plan, and you build out workflows based on that, which will be a lot more effective than just blindly throwing in content from your help center. If you have that compartmentalization already in your help center based on personas or various different categories, excellent. Your chatbot could learn and pick that up. To get to more practical stuff, how do you choose a chatbot if you don't already have one? Consider the size of your team. Consider how many tickets your support team is getting over a period of time. What's your budget? How much money can you spend? Right? Do you have localized support which might raise up the costs even a bit more? Do you need to have integrations with your other systems within your organization? How easy is it to use? Is there a large learning curve? Does it require a lot of effort from engineering or backend teams to make this work? Consider that aspect. And integration, analytics, those aspects. I also have a checklist here. I will be happy to drop this off with the team to kind of look at, which talks about different things you can look at to choose the right chatbot. And finally, I'm almost at time. Don't want to take up too much of it. Try some of these. Most of these have free versions. Currently, we use the one called Forethought, but I've used some or all of these. Very intelligent, very easy to work with, and it can really make a difference to your content strategy and to your support teams. HelpShift is great. Forethought is great. The one in the middle, I just have the logo. It's a company called Intercom, INTRCOM. Predia AI is an offshoot of Freshworks, their own AI chatbot. Bloomfire is another very interesting chatbot which can help you do a lot. So I will pause here. Ramesh, I see you already have a question. I'll be happy to answer that and any other questions that you folks might have.
This is super helpful, Raj. I will connect with you offline.
Absolutely. All right. So I see folks don't have any questions, but feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or any other channel, because this is a very short time. It's a very short window to discuss in detail how we did the implementation. What are these workflows you keep talking about? Connect with me offline. I'll be more than happy to walk you through some of the things and stuff you can try. Sure, Yogita, I will share these names in the chat as well. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. You all have a nice presentation ahead.
I think Ramesh has a question. Would you like to speak up, Ramesh?
Yeah. Ramesh, are you?
Yes, sorry, there was some network issue. That's the reason I couldn't speak. So, Raj,
Sure.
a pretty interesting presentation, and thank you for sharing all that. From an implementation perspective, I just wanted to know typically what are the what are the key challenges that you faced, in doing this? I do understand from a strategy perspective, it involves a lot of stakeholders and other things. But purely from a tech writing perspective, what is the key challenge that you faced while implementing this?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ramesh. And as you said, one big hurdle was to get the buy-in. After my big boss said, "Hey, Raj, okay, here's your money, go buy it." The second thing was to kind of identify, because the company whom we went with, they were building these solutions and tailor building these chatbot solutions for different verticals and domains. So it wasn't going to be like a one size fits all. Maybe one of your clients is from the healthcare domain, so something which you are building for them will not work for me. So the first challenge was to kind of get a very clear directive on how we want our workflows to be built, how we want our content to be analyzed, what kind of audience are we trying to address with our chatbot. So that was one level. So that happened during the onboarding with the company whom we liaised with. The second challenge came in terms of when it was implementation. Implementation was pretty simple. So that I'll tell you, we did not have too much to worry about going to engineering or doing some stuff. It is a bit of code which we just added, and the chatbot was up and running. Challenge which we faced was in terms of, hey, I'm, let's say, publishing an article, I'm checking something on the chatbot. Let's say I showed you the data, right? 200 and 2,500 chats. Now, how do I know those 2,500 chats are not all from within my organization or not from within my team? And I'm just testing. For example, even video content for that matter, right? You publish something on YouTube, it says 100 views. Out of that, 40 views might be from within your own team, trying to test something, retest something. How do I sift through internal users versus external users to get a very clear picture of, is this even effective, the measuring the impact? That was the other challenge, and we had some help around there. So the first couple of months, the data was a little skewed, but eventually we were able to kind of get that done. The final challenge, I think, Ramesh, is mainly to keep this momentum going, right? Excuse me. So some months,
So
like I
Raj,
said,
on the second, sorry to interrupt, Raj. On the second point, how did you really, you said sift through data. So how did you achieve that and get that?
so that was mainly through domain name. So when somebody logged into the platform, if they had an airbase.io domain, we knew they were internal users, somebody with Gmail or something else. But again, it's not 100% accurate, but it's definitely better than blindly assuming that everybody is external or internal.
Sure. Thanks, Raj. Thanks.
Yeah, and finally, like I said, the reporting and analytics part of it was a little challenging because we were not sure how effective the data was, and we were spending a chunk of money. We were spending close to $20,000 to $25,000 per year, and my big boss clearly wanted to know, hey, are we going to renew this? Is it going to be effective? Sorry. So the analytics part is also very key.
Yeah, thank you, Raj. Thanks. That was quite insightful and useful. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Raj, I just have one question. Of course, I have a few more. For that, I will connect with you offline. But just to get some understanding of how this works. So you mentioned about if we are trying to actually tie AI chatbot with docs, right? Now, did that require any kind of changes in the way docs were structured?
Not really, even though that is something which we did consider. But what we did, Sripan, and that's a great question, is we started focusing more on adding metadata. Because a chatbot will ideally look at your title, look at your section headings, right, to identify context and the intention of the user. What really helped us boost and give more accurate, tailored responses was adding keywords and labels to our content. For example, before publishing an article, let's say the article is about wire transfers in the fintech world. I would probably add things like wire transfer, cancel a wire transfer, time for wire transfer as keywords with that article, even though they're not appearing in the content, but as metadata or labels for that content. So when somebody searches or uses a search phrase which has one or more of these terms along with the title, along with the subsection, along with the content, it would give a more accurate match than using just the title, subtitles, and stuff like that. So adding labels, tags, metadata is definitely the way to go to improve accuracy.
Got it. Sure. Thanks, Raj.
Sure.
Raj, I actually have a follow-up question to your answer. So you said, accurate data would mean to have your keywords in your meta as well as your content and everything. But isn't that keyword overload also, in a sense? Like, how do you find the balance? Because again, too many keywords is again like bad for your SEO, right? Google tends to degrade.
Yeah, it'll dig you down if you're trying to overstuff a lot of keywords for SEO ranking. So
Exactly.
that's a good. I think that's more of a hit and miss. So ideally, for example, let's say you have a very generic article, which typically generic keywords, don't bother with keywords in that instance. Maybe use keywords where there's specific action for, let's say I saw a quick screenshot of your dashboard, right? The Razorpay dashboard. Maybe words like dashboard, etc., need not be added as a keyword because that stuff is already there in your article. You don't need that as a keyword. But maybe something specific action which is unique to your dashboard. Maybe I would add that as a keyword there, because a developer or somebody might be stuck at one particular place where they're trying to tweak something and they're not sure what to enter there or what to configure there. So maybe those I would consider as a keyword. And also something which we have started doing is when I send out, or my team sends out an article to review with a product manager or an engineering person, we will also add, hey, these are the keywords which we want to add to this article. Review these as well. Also, why don't you give me some of the keywords which you think people will look up this as? Because a PM or a marketing person has done the market research. What I am calling the feature might not be necessarily what a customer calls it. Correct? For example, let's say in WhatsApp, you might have the feature which says, upload a video. Somebody else might call it something else. So even those insights will help you kind of get an insight of what kind of keywords I actually use. So to answer your question, Nishta, don't use generic keywords which probably are already there covered in your articles. Only something which are very specific to your product, which are very specific that you anticipate a person might ask. Those could be good candidates for keywords.
Got it. Thank you, Raj. Do we have more questions, folks?
I think we just overshot by 3 minutes, but yeah, I'll be happy to share this presentation. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Happy to discuss more. Thank you, everyone.